I made my own awful games on Game Maker and just like played. So I would like make a game on Game Maker which was just like a dot going around a square, and then export it and then just do it for hours.
I'm so cracked at dot and square.
It was yeah, it's just stupid orcs and
Do you have a voice agent?
two voice agent.
Two?
Yeah, and I only get like castings for stupid creatures and orcs and things like that, and goblins in video games. Like one line background goblins in a Warhammer game.
Right. Well, but it's like Warhammer Mobile.
Yeah.
Right.
Can we get a taste?
It would be something like shake the phone sideways, brother. Stuff like that.
You know what you sound like? You sound like Danny Dyer in Human Traffic.
Yeah, I'm trying to go for. Yeah, I also get Football Factory, the stage play. Football Factory, the dining experience, that sort of thing.
The dining experience.
It's
Everyone's on terraces eating.
Yes, yeah.
Everyone's on terraces eating pies.
Yeah, they give the dining experiences. They give you 15 rum and cokes, and you wake up with a Turkish man holding a butcher's cleaver to your throat. That's the dining experience.
There is a Football Factory restaurant.
Awesome.
It's in New York City.
What's the Football Factory? I'm so sorry.
It's like it's a Danny Dyer movie, hooligan movie.
Franchise.
Oh, there was one in Toronto as well.
Oh, it's a movie, but it's a restaurant.
It's a movie
from like the early think like Layer Cake, Snatch,
Okay.
Sexy Beast, that type of movie.
But if it's a
Like
restaurant,
a Guy Ritchie-esque affair. Like a Jason Statham
more
vehicle.
football hooligan themed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Sub Green Street, like Guy Ritchie.
they've now made Football Factory restaurants in America
That
and
can't
Canada.
be the same.
Yeah, I think it's probably a reference to the film.
Right.
I
Really, it's
suspect.
American
The
football.
logo is a bulldog holding a pint.
Okay, then that is the real thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
That's
like
the vibe.
that's what Britain's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Britain's
But then I
They
think
have an XL bully petting zoo
Yeah,
on the premises.
yeah. The only petting zoo you have to sign a waiver before entering.
I have a lot of issues with football culture in the UK, but I still think the US football culture needs more of it.
Yes.
American football or soccer?
Soccer in America.
Oh, soccer in America.
The
Soccer in
fans
America
are-
needs culture, period.
But no,
Let's
the
go,
fans
let's
are.
go.
Yeah,
Shut
yeah.
the
The
fuck
fans
up,
are
grow up.
lame. They're not good at singing. They don't have any good chants.
Okay,
can't
but the
throw a
women's
punch.
football in
They're not good
America
at punching.
rocks.
No, I'm talking about the people in the stands.
Okay.
I'm just saying they don't have any good fan culture when it comes
No.
I'll
to
tell you why.
soccer.
I'll tell you exactly why.
They need if we
They
could
need
give
a
them
flare up their ass.
if we could give them half of the flair in the anus energy, so they've got half now. We have half as mental.
Yeah.
Everything's more fun and exciting. The chants
What
are
if we
better.
just give them just Millwall and that's it?
No,
They
here's what
can't
you're
handle
missing.
that.
Okay.
Here's what you're missing. America and Canada have that. It's hockey.
No, sure,
It's
but
not the same.
it's
We
not
don't-
the
if you
same.
want-
There's
such
no
smaller
singing.
scale.
It's not the same.
There's no singing.
There's singing. There's a lot of punching. There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fighting.
There's chanting, but I've never heard any American
It's
sport
not,
fans
it's
singing.
not this. It's not quite the same as the occasional brawl in the stands or like people fighting in the fighting box on a hockey rink isn't the same as like just everyone in a postcode meeting up to throw glass bottles at each other on a Saturday morning. It's
guess-
different. Like they don't have police. Like there are police horses. It's like a skirmish. It's like an actual skirmish.
The other thing we're missing though as well in hockey, I was thinking about this, is you would never get a group of Edmonton Oilers supporters getting together in the bar beforehand to like go through to do a version of like, let's come up with a version of Country Roads that like slags off the goalie of the Montreal Canadiens.
Yes,
You
yeah,
know?
exactly. That's what I mean. They don't have the freelance musical talent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a very rare thing to have that many very frightening men who don't consider themselves in a choir,
That's awesome.
who are essentially in a choir.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And they compose their own
know what
music
it is?
and they write their own lyrics.
You know what
Yeah.
it is? It's the closest equivalent actually is, if you remember the TV show Glee, where they would do
Do I
like
remember
Never
the
heard of
TV
it.
show Glee?
where they would be like, yeah, we're doing sort of our own sort of medleys of pop songs. That's basically what they're doing, just
Yeah.
about football.
Yeah, and it speaks to the level of their menace, that their menace is not significantly reduced by this.
And therefore
Yeah,
it's not
it's great.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Also, something that something that they don't have in America that we have over here is terrible infrastructure.
Yeah.
So, like where I used to sit at my football club, at my ground, it's probably the oldest and worst maintained stand in the league. And and that really adds to the whole thing. I
Well, yeah,
think.
and like so much of it is walking to the stadium, pubs on the way to the stadium, leaving the stadium, whereas there everyone's driving. So I feel like
Yeah,
It's
what-
true. Yeah, you can't have 4 pints before you even start stumbling towards
Yeah.
the
exactly. Exactly.
You're
What it
basically
is-
saying that hooliganism in America is being curtailed by a lack of walkability.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they need
that's why we need a
genuinely.
they
walkable
need a
city.
Sorry,
walkable
this-
city so their football culture can develop better.
This
The
is-
Ford
fans.
Motor Company
This is what I mean. Yeah,
is
like
to blame.
this is what I mean by infrastructure. Not when I mean like my ground is like it's like the corridor is like way too slim for anybody. Like the amount of people that need to get down.
Just a series of bottlenecks.
Everybody, yeah, it's just bottlenecks. Everybody smokes inside. The actual ground itself is quite nice, but the area around the ground is just like all pubs. You have to walk there, like it's uphill, and all the trains don't work, and you can't get the same vibe if you're gliding down the freeway and then having a barbecue out the back of your car.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
loser behavior. It needs to be like 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning. You feel awful.
Has
You
to be
have 8
hard
pints.
earned.
There was a greyhound that used to piss on the floor of the pub that we drank in for a game, and they
For
just
luck.
they don't have that in America.
Every now and then, like you say with hockey, a random town that I wouldn't have previously associated specifically with hockey, I'll see footage of like cars being flipped over and
That's
stuff.
what I was thinking of.
That does happen, but it's like a once a year.
But that's going too far too rarely. You need half as that all the time.
It's binge drinking.
Yeah.
What we want is enough continuous drinking and misbehavior at a medium level from the Americans.
It's
My
actually
local
much
pub got so smashed up that it had to close for a year when we beat Colombia in penalties in the round of 16. They had to close for a year.
A year.
Yeah.
So they could get a priest in.
It took a year to refurbish it.
Fucking hell.
Someone picked me up and threw me into the fire pit.
They were just so happy.
Supporting the same team.
Yeah, that's it. The friendly fire. Also, the corridor thing you've described sounds like how they kind of rile up animals in like gladiator arenas. So
It
it's like,
genuinely is like
you
that,
make
yeah.
the tigers really upset. They have
Yeah.
to walk through all these tiny corridors
Yeah.
and bump shoulders.
Absolutely.
And,
It's great. Everyone's so close. It's not like a big, like high-tech ground like
No.
some of the top teams. It's like small. Everyone's close together. It's still really nice. I like it. Just so claustrophobic, and it's just you and 1,000 old men with no teeth drinking Peroni from plastic bottles and smoking inside the corridor.
You're describing that machine that kills cows humanely by hugging them. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know
Oh,
what
yeah.
you're talking
The hydraulic
about.
press man on YouTube.
Yeah, that's how they kill cows at
You said-
farms.
you
Yeah.
won't believe
they've
how this
autom-
cow explodes.
They've automated Anton Chigurh.
Who's that?
From No Country
No
for Old
Country
Man
for
guy
Old
with
Man.
that's like the
the bolt
cattle.
gun.
the cow
Oh, it's
pneumatic
boy things.
gun.
It's boy things
It's boy
again.
things, yeah.
Look, if it's not Greta Garwig's Barbie, what you're describing also is very interesting because I feel like here drinking is part of the culture. It's part of the
Yes.
everyday. It's part of the fabric. Whereas in America, I feel you get an obscene amount of drinking done at university,
Yeah.
but in a way that is just extreme. They have something called
Yeah.
a Borg. Do you know what a Borg is?
No, what's that?
Blackout rage gallon. And you get
Wow.
like a gallon, like a Yeti cooler. That's like a gallon.
Mhm.
And it's a whole handle of vodka. And then you put some, I want to say water in it. And then one of those like, flavor drops you have for like squash almost.
Yeah.
And that's your blackout rage gallon for, and you decorate it. You put like glitter on it.
So it's like you're sort of
It's not an actual gallon of vodka.
It's a gallon of alcohol.
Right.
So it's an alcoholic drink, but it's a
It's like a
handle
mixer.
of vodka. What's
It's,
it?
it's a mixer.
it's a gallon of what sounds
It-
like
it's-
double.
it's a-
No,
it's a
that's-
mixer
that's
that's at
nothing.
like 60%
Yeah,
alcohol.
60%.
How much is a
Yeah.
handle of vodka?
Like a liter, isn't it? I
I'm
don't
not sure.
actually
Tell
know.
me now.
Because
Yep.
that's
Google
that's an
that.
only America Canada thing is to have a hand. It's because because you know how you have a standard 750 ml spirit bottle. A handle
bigger.
is a bigger version of that with a plastic handle. Yeah.
1.75 liters is a handle. So you put the whole handle in a Borg,
Mhm.
and then whatever is left, you top up with water and the
Okay.
squash drop.
So it's like 2 bottles of vodka and a big
Yeah.
drum that you
How
walk
long was
around.
that meant to last you?
Like a night.
At the night.
Right.
So and then you decorate it, and it's like, oh, this is my Borg, and you like put your name on it in like glitter letters. And
Yeah.
that
so
ruins it. That decreases how alcoholic it is. You really,
every
if
Diamante.
This is the difference.
Like
It's
blue
like
petering your.
yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if how much alcohol there is. If I decorated my pint glass with macaroni, I would be murdered with a knife. That's the difference.
What if it just said Ed?
Yeah, if it said
And
head on my
macaroni.
pint glass, I'd be clubbed to death.
What if it
with,
just said- what
like
if it-
rocks in a sock?
What if it just said like fuck off in dried gnocchi or something.
No.
Yeah, big pint.
Fried gnocchi.
Fried gnocchi.
Jesus Christ.
But so hang on, this
Because it's
the
big,
Borgs,
you know?
The Borgs,
Yeah.
they have the Borgs, and that's like a college-only era thing.
Yeah, so
no
at
one's,
university-
no one's Borging at 32.
Well, you know what you're
No.
talking about? You're basically, I think this goes back to walkability, is that university for Americans and Canadians is like Rumspringa for not having to drive everywhere.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
the
it's-
only experience of a walkable city Americans get, and
'Cause
then
they-
you're in the workforce and you don't drink at all.
Because their unis are so massive, it's like living on a kind of space station.
Yeah.
There's just like towns, a whole town-sized space station full of these.
Yeah. But you're not having to drive everywhere. That's like the 4 years of your life where you don't have to
Oh,
drive
yeah,
everywhere.
Okay, yeah, this makes
Yeah.
sense.
So
And
this
then-
is that's why I say it's Rumspringa for a driving culture.
so they graduate and they go, now I will swap my Borg for this car, and I will never drink again, and I will drive every day for hours.
I think that's basically it.
Yeah, but again, what we're ignoring is the people here who live in the middle of nowhere, who don't live in walkable places, who still drink 18 pints a night and then drive home, which is most people in this country.
To be fair, I also knew people when I lived in the countryside who would drink 18 pints and then stumble home miles down black country roads.
Yeah, I've done that.
And get like clipped by.
I did that 2
milk
weeks ago.
vans and stuff.
It's a miracle I wasn't crushed flat by a tractor before this podcast.
But that's always true of you, Ed. You
Yeah.
thank God every day when you wake up.
I do. I think
You
God
avoided
every
those
single day.
tractors.
It's genuinely a miracle. Some of the like I was thinking back for my podcast the other day. I just occasionally remember things. Where I'm like, God, when I was younger, I put myself in such needless danger just for the sake.
Yeah,
You know,
you had a whimsical attitude.
I've like woken up on the street, like outside the big Tesco on Christmas Eve. Fell asleep outside Tesco.
It's the Tiny
on the
Tim
street.
aspect of that.
Yeah, it was like
It's
kicked,
truly.
How old were you?
22. Kicked awake by my friend's little brother because he saw me when he was walking home.
Oh no!
But that's the thing. You had enough of a community around you.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
system.
that's a
They
good
could-
point actually.
They
Yeah.
could drag you home.
Yeah. That's so
Whereas-
lucky.
If you just tipped over a sty into a cow
Into a
field,
ditch.
You
you'd have
get
been left
squeezed.
there.
I'd
Yeah,
be
you'd
like-
get
yeah.
squeezed to death.
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
that cunt
Okay,
who's
I need to
missing
Google
a
this.
Tenerife.
This is definitely a thing.
I've been Googling it for a while. I found no evidence of it.
There is a thing that kind of hugs cows,
Yeah,
but it's
but
to
that's-
chill them out before they kill them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
meant.
They don't. Well, the cows aren't themselves.
They're not squeezed to death.
getting.
No. They're squeezed until they're like calm and sort of zenned out,
Yeah, and then
like
they,
a swaddle.
So
yes.
That's
We thought
crazy.
you were saying
That's
that they just
so
go like,
similar to me.
Oh
Just
no,
like-
no, that would have been sick.
just like that's how they make burgers. They just go. These are some powerful squeezes.
Like the Apple advert.
So we could buy a squeeze crate with a manual yoke for like £9,995 exclusive of that.
I don't want to do that.
Okay,
Wait,
I
what's
don't
a
know.
yoke?
Riley, is that all right if I don't?
that's fine.
I don't know. It sounds.
It sounds like a pretty good. I'm sure we could get it at auction, like from a failed farm.
I
much
like that
cheaper.
they've taken £5 off, so that it seems cheaper than the other squeeze boxes that I'm considering.
Yeah, look, they don't. We don't want to scare people off with a 5-digit number for the
No,
cow
no, no.
squeeze box.
No.
No.
So what is the cow like asleep at the end of it, or she's just very, very calm and zen?
I think it's like, you know how if you like tickle a lobster, it'll sort of go catatonic.
Again, you're explaining things via terms that are less understandable.
Yeah, you're doing the equivalent of going, "What's a flibdy floop?" Well, you take a glibdy glop, and then you like it's just
That's
more
what you
words.
just did.
Yeah, yeah.
No, if you make basically if you put a so it's I look, I don't know. I don't know cows. I really haven't met many cows.
I have a name.
But I think it's just
If they stampede and break a leg, then you can't use them
yeah, they
sort
sort
of
of
as food anymore,
That's
and
kind
it
of-
might scare all the other
Yeah,
cows
leg's
and
my
fuck up the whole
favourite bit.
factory. Yeah, I like leg,
I like leg.
but I only like leg that's been hugged to death.
Yeah, hugged to death. Yeah.
I
yeah.
want to taste the hugs.
I want to taste the love.
Wait, sorry, this hasn't been hugged enough for me.
I can taste the unhuggedness.
Could you please give my steak a little kiss
Yeah.
before I
God, it
finish?
tastes like virgin.
Wait,
Anyway.
there's no cum on this. Can you get someone in the kitchen to
I
cum on this? please?
specifically ordered. But
This
it's
has not been fucked enough.
But those things are fucking heavy cows, right? They're like half a ton or whatever.
Yeah,
so
they're
if they
massive, yeah.
if they flip out, then they're going to damage.
Especially where the cows are getting bred to being bigger and bigger and bigger now.
Yeah.
They're harder. We're sort of recreating an aurochs from first principle,
Yes.
essentially, which I'm sure you're very
I
pleased
I
about.
love it.
Yeah. So there's a new sort of European breed of cow that's replacing, sort of slowly
I
replacing.
have a name. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna keep saying
Well,
new
it's-
European breed of cow. Okay.
That's awesome.
it's not a cow that reads a new European. it's a much larger, much stronger, much more aggressive cow.
Yeah.
Are you gonna?
There you go.
Okay, there we go.
That's a hippo.
I'm delighted if we could just organize it so that the cows don't burp or fart. I think we'd be onto a good.
You've seen the yeah? Are you looking up the really muscly, the really
We'll
strong
finally
cow?
stop criticizing beef.
So
I feel
weirdly,
I'm very
So that's
pro beef.
So that's Russian man that made a dog with 2 heads. I saw that the other day.
they called the Belgian blue
Again, I
cow.
have a name. Sorry, I'm Russian, so that makes sense.
Yeah, the cow is called a Belgian blue, and it's referred to as
heard of
the
that.
XL bully of cows.
Yeah. I can't wait to see one being walked without a lead in my local area.
Yeah, me too. In my
I don't know how you've managed this, but you're one of the only adults I know who's maintained the media diet of a sort of weird 14-year-old. And you've always seen like a dog with 2 heads, or like
Have you seen
a
that?
fucked up image or
Like
whatever.
a 9 gag.
Yeah, well, like
Anyone?
E-Bombs
No.
World. E-Bombs World.
You're now you're
Yeah.
I would say you're now the oldest user of E-Bombs World, but no, I think you're still right in the middle.
I'm the only one.
That's your homepage, E-Bombs
my
World. Gotta
homepage,
keep up
is
to date with the
E-Bombs.
news.
I use eBaum's World and Dig still. I use Dig and I go on Iconhouse Cheeseburger every morning to
Yes,
make me
yes,
laugh
yes.
before my office job.
Well, I need to have good dinner party conversation. That's why I always check out what's on E-Bombs World. They have a great new South Park Kill Kenny game. I think people are going to really enjoy.
Have you seen that video of
The last Flash game that's still
I
supported on the
used to
internet.
love those Flash games.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
brilliant.
When you realize you can hit
fights,
tab
yeah,
and find all the secrets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the thing.
absolutely.
Yeah, no Easter eggs. No Easter eggs are hiding from me in my tab.
No, absolutely not.
Because I was in kind of like a free range grade 7 and 8 for a while.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like a Montessori, but for older kids.
So it was like
Free range deliberately, or just like the teacher completely
no, it
checked
was
out?
so basically
Did you go on one of those cow huggers?
yeah. I went to the cow hugger and I came out and I was like this.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been doing a lot of like Riley childhood stuff the last couple
Yeah.
episodes.
Well, it's a fascinating. I think because you talk so much about the world of finance and tech in your other podcast and the politics thereof, that we never get a glimpse into the cow hugging youth.
yeah.
This is not a real podcast. This is therapy your
Yeah,
parents
yeah,
are
yeah.
paying for.
What a great product though, right? It's like we're doing long-term therapy. No, so I basically, there was like in my school district, I thought it was totally normal at the time. In retrospect, it must have been some kind of weird experiment.
Yeah.
They like, if you were put in the gifted program, they would take you from like from grade 6, and then you would be like, okay, for the next 3 years, you don't have to do like English and English period, homeroom, blah, blah, blah. You just sort of, you get to school at like 9. You know you have to do like an English project for the end of the week and a French translate, whatever. And then it's just like, okay, go ahead, do what you will. And so I just played a lot of Team Fortress 2 because
Yeah.
our classroom was like a big open concept thing, and the computer lab was like just off of it. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna play. I'm gonna play some
cool, yeah.
FPSs. I'm gonna go on
Is
E-Bombs
that like
World.
an online world? Online game?
Yeah, it's like a shooter.
So hang on, they just went, we're going to take the cleverest kids
Yeah.
and see if they can fuck themselves up.
Yeah.
Or if they turn out fine on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the answer?
Well, I'm
It's hosting
here.
a podcast.
Well,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
But what about all the other children?
I
Did anyone react badly to this?
What about Hannibal and Osama and all the others?
well, one of them did a really big European trip. I think he lost some friends in the Alps, but I think the rest of them were fine.
know what
I
that-
think he had a lot of pressure from his dad. No, that could be both of them actually.
Yeah.
Who did you play as in Team Fortress 2?
Yeah. Real
I was
questions.
always the scout because I liked running and jumping, but
I
I
liked
got
scout.
fucking. I should have just been the heavy because I was just soaking up damage because I was bad at running and jumping.
Mhm.
But I just always thought if I could be fast, I'd be better.
I like being Demo Man as well because you can
Yeah,
do
that's
really
fun.
high jumps with the bombs.
Yeah, you can rocket jump yourself.
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
you put like a sticky bomb under you and then jump and then set it off, it launches you really high, but you don't take anything.
The
damage.
problem
I feel
with
like I'm being held hostage.
the problem with
I was
taking
going to say,
all-
you're having to sit in the middle of what I would call a deeply indoors conversation.
Yeah, I was definitely a factory farm year 7 and 8.
Yeah. Sit there, do this.
Sit there, do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, big eat biscuits, eat cream crackers. Don't go outside. You'll get punched in the head if you do.
Oh,
You're a
man.
battery boy.
Yeah, I'm a battery boy.
Were
Yeah,
you into
yeah.
gaming?
you had to
Yeah.
get to poop on
What
his
kind of
legs
games
and
do you
stuff.
play?
I played Team Fortress 2 a lot. I played all the Valve games. When I was 15, 16, and I was really into like nascent Reddit culture and stuff, and I loved I got Steam for the first time, and I played like Half-Life and Portal and shit like that all the time. That's basically what I did. I made my own awful games on Game Maker and just like played. So I would like make a game on Game Maker, which was just like a dot going around a square, and then export it and then just do it for hours.
I'm so cracked at dot and square.
I also
I'm sorry. I think I was
so locked in.
I was conflating two things. Team Fortress 2 came later. In the computer lab, that was like early 2000s. That would have been before that. It was like early Rainbow Six.
Oh yeah,
where it was like the same map, like Dust 2 level of just like constantly running the same thing.
Yeah.
It would have been that. The TF2 came later. I still sucked.
Naughty's LAN game culture.
Yeah. It was like LAN all the time. I'm surprised. We also like for projects, it would be like create a thing reminiscent of the Bronte sisters. It could be a game, an RPG Maker. It could be a painting.
Reminiscent of
stuff like this.
It'd be like
the Bronte sisters, 3 stick women shot into the wall in Counter-Strike.
Yeah, it was. In retrospect, I thought that was totally normal, but I was like, no, I was part of an educational experiment. I think.
I think so.
It's
pretty evident from everything about you.
I think I might have been a test subject or something.
They experimented on you.
Yeah.
You can say to people legitimately, when I was at school, they did experiments on me.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
awesome.
they was just like. And the more I think of it, I'm like, I think a lot of people just ended up being like normal car dealership people as well.
No such thing.
No normal people in car dealerships. You don't have to be crazy to work here, but it helps.
Yeah.
North America's got such a strong fucking car culture that being a car salesman is seen as like a normal job, as opposed to in the UK where it's like
A train salesman.
a train salesman. Exactly, that's the most normal job we
Shoe
have.
salesman in a walkable town.
Yeah, exactly.
Pierre, what games did you play?
Really? Do you really want to know?
I mean, my eyeballs are painted onto my eyelids right now.
This is how Pierre and I actually met.
meditative?
Tell me more.
Yeah, but Pierre played a lot of like Crusader Kings and Hearts of Iron shit, right?
You also did
Never
Warhammer,
Hearts of
didn't you?
Iron.
Oh, no, Hearts
One of
of
the
Iron.
first hours of
But
yours
I-
I've seen was like
I
a
paint-
15-minute bit about Warhammer.
Yeah, I painted it. I never figured out how to
I did
do
play
it like the game.
I played one game against like a 40-year-old man who absolutely just dominated me, and I hated it.
I played Warhammer
They're
in the
not very-
Is it
back
like
of
chess, but you paint the chess?
I played Warhammer in
kind
the
of.
back of a game store called Phoenix Rising every week for 3 years.
Yeah,
It's like
I was too rural to have access to it.
You to have access to a game store where like the
No.
guy who owns it clearly hates that this is his business.
No, there was an equivalent of that sometimes, but
Yeah.
I the vibes were so bad.
And again, you remember like oh well,
Terrible vibes.
Of course, it's normal for like the guy who runs what is essentially the toy store that's 50% toys for grown-ups,
Yeah.
50% toys for kids, hates that there are kids in there.
everybody is also
Yeah.
a pedophile.
Yeah. I don't know anything about the Phoenix Rising guy. I know that when I used to loudly quote Full Metal Jacket until he told me to stop.
Yeah, you're winning me round to his side.
I remember I was once doing like I shouted.
I hate my job. This 12-year-old boy beats me with soap every weekend.
I remember shouting. I didn't know
he
they
shot the owner in the
know
chest.
they stacked shit that high in St. Catharines. And he came to the back and he was like, "Stop it."
I'm trying to run a reputable toy shop.
Because I was drinking like 3 vanilla Cokes and eating a Jamaican patty. I was playing Dark Eldar. I was getting my shit rocked by a 40-year-old. And then I was yelling lines from Full Metal Jacket. And he had to be like, "Fucking stop it. Stop it. You're like,
Powerful.
You have so much swag.
Yeah.
you're,
Incredibly
I was
wearing-
chaotic
source
boy.
code.
I was wearing an Atticus shirt. Remember those with like
No.
the dead dove, and it was like the pop punk shirt.
No?
Yeah, I was wearing the pop punk shirt, but I wanted to have like a cool hair.
You are so completely riskless now comparing to whoever it is that you're describing.
This is what's crazy, because right before the podcast, you were just talking about a normal holiday you're about to take, and you go on holiday, and you don't realize that everybody there used to be like that, like you. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't feel real. Like, I used to be like that. I'm like, what am I doing in France? I used to play Warhammer.
You want to stand up around the pool and say,
everyone.
Who here remembers Bomb Site 2 and Deep Dust?
Yeah.
And everyone will stand up like...
Everybody, if you've ever done the thing in Dust 2 where as soon as you spawn, you throw an exact grenade that you know will hit another spawn point and kill someone immediately, if you've done that, you have to leave the hotel and go back home.
Yeah.
You're pretending now.
You have to go back.
Go beat yourself.
Go into your room and play that level again on a laptop.
There's no amount of like Michelin star dining or like tailoring that will ever remove that from you.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm
trying.
We know.
I got kicked out of my my Games Workshop when I was a kid.
Full Metal Jacket?
No, so basically, so I was Croydon. It was Croydon Games Workshop, so it was like sort of I'd say probably I can't remember it, but guessing like a 50-50 mix of like genuine nerds and kids whose parents just never picked them up from school. And and the two guys that ran it were really strange, and like I had like one friend there who was like quite quiet and softly spoken like me that I made there, and he never came back because this other kid we played Lord of the Rings, and he played this other kid who'd bought a Balrog, and
Sorry, what is that?
Lord of
like
the
a
Rings,
big creature, really expensive, really powerful.
there's a Lord of the Rings like Warhammer game that
Version
they
of
also
the game.
do.
And the Balrog kid lost, and he like knocked out my friend because he was so angry, and he got banned, but only for a week.
What?
And when he left, he
Well,
went
they
up.
thought we can't afford to lose this level of
Yeah,
customer.
exactly.
He's
Yeah.
investing in Balrogs. He's buying stuff
They
from
liked
Forge
him.
World. We
He's
need
a-
to keep
He's a
him
whale.
going.
He's a whale.
Yeah, exactly. And when he left,
It's a Warhammer 40k whale.
He's a whale. It's like in
exactly.
casinos. You can't ever really ban a whale.
Can't really ban a
It's
whale,
like,
yeah.
it's like they know that you're gonna buy like a Warhound Titan or whatever. So when
Yeah,
you come
yeah.
in, they're like, right this way, sir.
Yeah,
he's the
yeah.
only one buying the metal ones.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like a Balls energy drink on the house?
So, yeah. Yeah.
If we find any women, we'll get them to stand behind you while you play. No promises, though.
Just Sharon Stone in character as Ginger.
Never happened once before.
Yeah, it's like in
A lady
Casino.
came in to ask for directions. and-
But I'm saying Sharon Stone in character as Ginger from Casino, blowing out a handful of 50 dice you're about to roll.
Blowing on the little the circular like plastic like bomb radius
Yeah.
disc.
I think they got rid of that in the most recent edition because it was stupid.
From context, I realize this is very funny.
And thanks. But I got kicked out because it was super expensive, but there was like a hobby craft like in Croydon
Yeah.
which sold like much cheaper paints and much cheaper but like Airfix stuff. And what's the one that's not Airfix? Anyway, like cheaper like army men and stuff. And I
Yeah.
was 12 and I bought like a Charge of the Light Brigade set from there because
Yeah.
it was like a tenth of the price of Warhammer, and I went to the Warhammer shop to paint it, and they kicked me out because they were like, no out of store models.
Brand only.
Yeah.
Space Marines on bust, kid. Get
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
here.
yeah.
And I had to go.
These
And,
aren't dwarves.
yeah, I had
Yeah.
to go and make the Light Brigade fight the Uruk-hai at my house.
Which isn't the same, is it?
No, it's not
No.
the same.
That's not the same.
No.
It's not the same if you're like, I don't know if this is like the fried foods that are being brought in, the body odor, the gray ponytails. You need that smell to really
Yeah.
invigorate you.
You know what? This is a really throwback feeling for me right now because I remember feeling this way somewhere middle school and high school. But then in the last few years, I've been subjecting men to Taylor Swift, and so it's usually them doing whatever the fuck I'm doing right now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, wow. mhm.
Nice. Yeah.
There was a few.
Having to go right, so the song's about a pub, right? right.
Yeah.
There was
Right, so it's a pub and
So that's what I'm used to. See,
Yeah.
and now it's back, and
Nice.
I
I
Yeah.
genuinely have the same feeling in my head when my girlfriend talks about Taylor Swift, where I had when I was a teenager, and I was sort of kind of falling out of love with Warhammer, but I thought like, well, I'll try and learn what the new lore is like.
yeah.
Right, okay, so there's a portal. Right, okay, and like really trying to like stay in my head,
Yeah.
picking up the thoughts and go, stay, remember
Yeah,
So
this.
I start, I
yeah.
start hearing the Oppenheimer music. I'm like,
really what's happening. So two things. Number one, really what's happening there is that it's like, wow, so you're saying that they redesigned the Space Marines to make them better, so I have to buy all new models now.
Yeah.
And secondly, that also happened. My girlfriend talking endlessly about Taylor Swift, but for like a 2-month period.
Yeah.
Not before, not really that much after, and that coincided with the taping of the previous season of this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to find a way to trigger my sort of autistic special interest powers about Taylor Swift. I haven't found it yet.
Uh-huh.
But if I could do that, if I could go like Hulk,
Yeah.
then I would remember all of it.
Yeah.
But then I don't really know what I don't think I'd get any extra like points for that.
No.
I don't think it would help anything if
No.
I knew.
No.
Because I think she just wants to talk to you about it.
But that's it. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be like
you don't want me to offer you stuff about Warhammer. All you want is a sort of surface to throw Warhammer information at.
No.
No,
The way I collect, the way I become interested in things as well, I know it wouldn't count for the way, because people that really like Taylor Swift, they enjoy her like her vibe and her music and stuff.
Yeah.
But if I would be like, I'd recite like the specs of her plane or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all I know about. It's like, wow, that's a nice sound system they got at the arena there.
Yeah, these are the geometric patterns of the backup dancers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Create a graph of all the BPMs of every song.
Instantly
Yeah.
tell
I wonder-
all of their heights because I know the size of like the camera or sound equipment that they're using.
Yeah.
I'm just like trying to make conversation with Taylor Swift. Like her third backup dancer is actually 5'8".
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that.
But you wouldn't think that because they position him fourth
Yeah.
in the sort of Fibonacci.
It's forced
spiral.
perspective, like in Lord of the Rings. Yes.
I love Taylor Swift's album. I love that. Yeah, I love the bit where she told me to buy a gun and shoot Joe Biden. Right.
I think you're right, though. I think it's about the listening, right? I don't have that the other way around. If you had facts about Warhammer, first of all, I'd be amazed.
I don't.
No. Secondly, I'd be amazed that I would also be interested to find out which of the terrible Warhammer knowledge had like stuck.
Mm. And
I
why?
think I had some
And why?
Magic the Gathering knowledge for a bit.
Did this come from
Just
school?
to give you an idea of the sort of the caliber of men I've dated.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And some sports stuff as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like the second we break up, I'm like no longer needed.
Yeah.
Out of the brain.
You're like,
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
never going to have to say or hear the word planeswalker again until I have a podcast later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I
Yeah,
remembered more
absolutely.
about Magic the Gathering. I really do.
I played when I was also in high school at the
That
same
comes as
time.
no
Favorite
surprise, Riley.
Planeswalker?
Nissa Ravain.
Really?
I had an infinite elf. I had an elf deck.
I like
I've
Nissa.
always-
I like
I played-
Nissa as well, actually.
I played
yeah.
constructed.
'Cause I was green black.
I played constructed, and so that meant that I basically I was told I wasn't allowed to play this deck with my friends anymore
Mhm.
because it was kind of what I did was I sort of went out to a store. I was like, I would like to buy a cracked deck for money, please, and they said, of course. I was like, here's the one I've designed. They're like, okay, here you go. Here's everything. I put the cards in little sleeves, and then I just sort of was like, okay, well. Now I'm just gonna win every game because
You can nuke anyone.
by turn 4 I have infinite elves with trample and flying.
Yeah.
It's not fun to play at that point
You just
anymore.
broke
'cause-
the game.
yeah, because it's like okay,
Yeah.
well, what I've done it's like remember that game Diplomacy? You ever played Diplomacy?
Nah.
It's a game where
I lived it.
yeah,
Yeah.
this isn't now like nerd.
I got my diplomacy.
This is no longer the same kind of nerd shit. This is different nerd shit. This is like
It was like Model United Nations.
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
and
yeah,
I did Model
yeah.
United
Oh,
Nations.
no,
in high
I've
school.
never heard it.
Yeah,
That's
this
such
is-
a,
I
that
did
seems like
that.
such an American thing. Oh, did you do it over here?
I did that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was introduced to me by my
Yeah.
LSE friends. So, and it's a big sort of mat, and it's sort of Europe in 1910, and
That's such an LSE friends game to play.
yeah,
I had LSE friends as well.
Yeah,
They're like,
they love
hey,
that
who wants
shit.
to play Risk? I'm actually gonna go and fucking kill myself. Thanks.
yeah. It's like oh, sorry, I have 19 unpaid internships this year with different like UN bodies, but I think I have time to play like this 12-hour game that makes you hate each other.
Yeah.
It generates the weirdest fucking people. But with this game, it's 1910 Europe, and you can play as like France, Britain, Germany, Ottoman Empire, Russia, and so on and so on. And the key is you have it's really simple. You just have guys and ships, and you can move one and like attack and everything, but there's no dice. It's just instead every turn resolves simultaneously, and you write your orders on a piece of paper, give them to a game master. The orders are resolved at once, and the only way to win is to team up with other people, but the only way to win is to betray them about as much.
Okay.
So it takes like 10 hours. Yes, thank you, Olga. It takes like 10 hours to play.
This is
And it
cheaper
nearly-
than like euthanasia for you.
It nearly broke up a friend's
This is the
relationship.
spiritual cow crusher for you, isn't it?
I have two friends who are married who very nearly broke up over a fight over a game of diplomacy many years before they were married.
Oh, that's quite humorous.
You ever play fucking
I'm so sorry, Riley. I love
Yu-Gi-Oh?
you. No. It is
Huh?
humorous. It is
Yu-Gi-Oh? You like Yu-Gi-Oh?
I think you make the most Yu-Gi-Oh references out of anyone I know.
I got diamond ranked online during the pandemic.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, I've made an awesome banish deck. Oh, I don't think I told you this yet. I got during the pandemic, I got into the world top 100 ranked at Yahtzee.
What?
Yahtzee? So
Yahtzee.
you're one of the 100 luckiest people in the world?
No, it's actually got a very developed meta that you have to be able to sort of. I was like, one of the Yahtzee pioneers, I'd say. I got, I think, like 95 or 96 was my highest, but yeah, for a while, consistently in the world top 100 of Yahtzee.
What is the
Amazing.
Yahtzee meta?
Congratulations.
Thanks, yeah. Huh? Sorry?
What's the Yahtzee meta?
Well, basically, it's about choosing when to use your. It's like odds and choosing when to, because you can only use each hand one. You can only claim each hand once, so it's about strategically claiming each hand at specific times, and not like using up.
How much caffeine did it take for you to? I presume we're talking about you at like 4 a.m. playing Yahtzee against like a Floridian pensioner.
Oh yeah.
Just absolutely on the fucking edge of sanity.
Yeah, it would be like this is deep pandemic, and I did have what I now sort of know. Probably now that I'm a bit older and a bit more like interested and smarter, was probably quite like an acute mental breakdown. But what
You surprised me.
what I
thought
did,
this was one of those healthy top 100 online game stories.
What happened is I'd be up drinking, like smoking cigarettes. This was like 2021 or late 2020. I'd be up like pure lockdown, no gigs. I'd be up like drinking E&J brandy and smoking cigarettes and playing Yahtzee and drinking coffee till 4 o'clock in the morning. I get 2 hours sleep, wake up and call my girlfriend and go, yeah, early night last night, really productive, sent lots of emails. And then I do it again from 11 p.m. till the next day.
You were living the life of some kind of like agoraphobic brothel owner or something. Like,
Yeah.
your descriptions of your life sometimes, in a crime movie or like an action movie where the cop or the detective or the hero has to like bust down the door of a dodgy motel to find the killer or some sex workers are in there or whatever.
Yeah.
And like they always have to go past a reception behind a big metal grill. And there's a guy watching a tiny TV with like a cigarette and like a big ashtray and like a beer.
Yeah.
And he's just slow. That's what I picture. You're
That's my life,
in this booth with like Yahtzee and smoking
And Yu-Gi-Oh.
room 7. Just handing the guy the keys without even looking at the gun he's pointing.
I imagine in the comedy...
That's exactly right.
In the comedy version of that movie, Ed is the first door they kick down before they get the right one.
Yeah, doesn't even look up from Yahtzee.
Yeah, he's so locked
listening
in.
to like esoteric playlists.
It would be
that I
so
made
easy
that-
for a Las Vegas casino to take advantage of. I'm so sorry.
No, because I've got the.
It would go wrong though for them.
It would go wrong for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be one of the guys who, again, in the movie, you're on the little black and white security screen and there's a guy with his hands on his hips saying, "Get someone down to that table now!" Because you've cracked blackjack somehow. After your 20th cigarette at this.
Yeah, I'm like, when Zach Galifianakis walks into the casino in The Hangover,
Yeah.
the only thing he's good for is one game, like remembering the rules of one specific game or whatever. Yeah,
I think you'd crack it.
thanks, man. Yeah, I had a really good time, and I was, I really enjoyed it, and I was but the important thing is I was able to put it down. I was able to walk away from the table while I was ahead.
What was the turning point?
Wow,
Was it cold turkey or was it gradual?
it was cold turkey because I sort of didn't. I was playing for fun. Like there was a big group of us who would play games in lockdown on this website, and one of the things that they had was Yahtzee, and so I was like, okay, and I played loads and loads, and increasingly more for like 2 weeks, and then I realized there was a ranking system, and I was like, well, I have to get into the top 100, and then I got as high as I could, and like you dip in and out so quickly, I decided I was like, it would be funnier if forever I can say I was world top 100 ranked at Yahtzee.
Yeah.
Then I leave.
So once you did crack the 100,
I was like, done now. Next
what
thing.
is what kind of like lifestyle change would you need to make it to the top 10?
Make it to the top 10. I
Like,
don't know.
Are we talking doing it round the clock? Are you
Adderall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
enhancement drugs?
I think maybe sort of like luck gets into luck and stuff.
Do they test for Adderall and stuff at like Scrabble championships and
Must do.
things like that?
Really good question.
Must do.
Because there's got to be an advantage.
Another one was
Hang on.
there's a website called PuzzGrid where you know about PuzzGrid? It's like a user submitted only connect walls.
Right. Okay.
And for they introduced a beta for a competitive ranking system for that. and I started playing it on the first night. Quit when I got to the top because it's the same. I just played only Connect walls for 8 hours until I got to the top and then left.
Do you take screenshots of the?
Yeah, I've got them all. Got all the screenshots of the rankings. Yeah.
Yeah, you've done it.
Yeah, because I've done it now, and it's like, and the next day, my girlfriend's like, "What'd you get up to last night?" I'm like, "Great news! I'm top of the world rankings at the users submitted only Connect walls." And she's like, "Right."
What?
She has a mortgage.
What?
Yeah, my mortgage got approved. Oh, great.
We've both done a lot.
Something here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a massive head injury when I was 15.
What was it?
I'd completely forgotten about this, but I fell off a wall showing my mum a parkour trick.
Yeah.
Landed on my skull, and she thought I thought I'd forgotten about it completely, and I didn't think it was that bad. And I remembered it recently. I was like, "That's crazy." And I was trying to write material for my show, so I called my mum up to ask what happened. And she was like, "Oh, it was really bad. You were like bleeding, and you were passed out in the street." And she thought I'd called her outside to make her watch me kill myself.
You thought my son's decided to kill himself with parkour.
Then she was like, "He's so stupid. He's fucked it up." And I couldn't read or write for a month. They had to take me out of school.
I mean, it's the maddest. I've known you for a long time, and you only told me that within the last year because you only fucking remembered it within the last year.
I completely forgot.
I can't believe you had a head injury so bad that you forgot how bad it was.
And then, but before that, I was like a real nervous wallflower. Really precocious, really smart and stuff. And then after that, immediately was a class clown, failing all my exams, and wanted to do stand-up comedy.
Yeah, you like Homer with a crayon in the brain yourself somehow.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I'm like Charlie in It's Always Sunny.
And for parkour.
And for parkour,
And all for parkour.
That you were going to show your mum.
Yeah. I was going to show my mum.
You're like, "Mum, check out my like cat pass over this railing."
Absolutely. It was just a simple Kong vault off a 10-foot wall.
Blue Factory!
This is my Warhammer, bitches.
But this is good because everything you say about pop culture explains 11 or 12 tweets that I've been trying to decipher.
Yeah, that's
Have you
good.
seen a lot of lime green around? It's all Brad.
I've seen that, but then I've seen a bunch of stuff where it's like, oh, and the Lord, and then also the and I kind of like, I can't reverse engineer what this is about.
You know, you could just text me and I'll explain everything.
I might start doing that because I feel like
it brings me so much joy.
As I feel like an archaeologist who somehow I'm from the past and I'm archaeologizing the future. Like I'm looking ahead for clues.
Yeah.
Oh, and there was a boundary dispute between these two. Like I just can't. I've got these like clay pot shards, and I'm going. The alphabet there's no verb.
It's like choose your Rosetta Stone for Twitter.
I can just text and say, why is everyone upset at whatever Jojo Siwa? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's someone who I had to Google the other day for a reference.
When did it come out?
How come they're all singing in
I've been in the
Linear
trenches
B?
for the past week.
June 7th.
Yeah, I've been in France with no signal, drinking Calvados.
Oh, there
that's
we go.
very
Calvados
nice.
is so good.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you like out of Calvados?
Apple whiskey.
Huh?
What do you like out
Yeah.
of Calvados?
I just like
Apple brandy?
brandy. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
like Calvados.
Yeah,
like
fair enough.
It's in my head. It's lodged in the place of like fancy drink. There's a section called fancy drink,
Okay.
and then when I want a fancy drink, I'll be like,
Okay,
Calvados.
you get to open a bar. It's called Ed's Fancy Drinks.
Yeah.
What's behind? And it's only the drinks that are in that category in your mind.
Okay,
What's on the shelf
I love
behind
this game.
the barman?
Calvados.
Calvados is
number
there.
one.
Any specific brand or just the drink itself is fancy?
Just just the drink itself.
Okay.
Okay.
Campari,
Yes.
Angostura bitters,
Hell
Yes.
vermouth,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep. Those are fancy.
probably Madry.
Yeah.